Sometimes after practice, I'll get in that and play it with like Kaner doing breakaways or those guys doing breakaways.
Way. You'll put on the pads?
No, not the pads.
Oh, okay.
I'll just play in my players' gear after practice.
Raw dog it?
Yeah.
Alex DeBrincat, congratulations. Of all of our guests, you have had the best pre-interview discussion because we've spent the last 10 minutes trying to fill you in on the show Home Improvement because you're from Detroit, but you're a little too young to have seen that. What does this sound mean to you?
Oh, jeez. I have no idea.
You don't know what that is?
No.
What year were you born?
97. I learned a lot today. I think I can go home and Google some stuff about Tim Allen. So that's interesting.
I'd skip the first 35 paragraphs of the Wikipedia page.
Straight to the drug section on his Wikipedia page.
No, I'm guessing the first 35 paragraphs are like, Tim Allen did some shit, but then he was like, Anyway, we come here and we were just hammering Detroit stuff, and we were Pete and I were watching Home Improvement stuff yesterday because we're in kind of the Detroit mood. Are you the most Detroit guy on the team? Because Google Maps says Farmington Hills is closer to Little Caesars Arena than Ann Arbor or any of the other places where the various Michigan Red Wings are from.
Yeah, I guess so. I would maybe the closest. I think proximity, but I didn't spend too much time downtown when I was younger. Maybe just to go to Red Wings games or whatever it was, but yeah, I don't know.
So it must be your nightmare when people did what we did and come in and start being like, Detroit, we're going to give you every Detroit reference we know. Also, tell us 100 places to go in Detroit. There has to be pressure playing in your hometown where you're seen by outsiders as probably a concierge for a city, and you're like, I spend a lot of my life on the road.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the stuff we do is in the suburbs. We live in the suburbs. Honestly, I come down here for maybe a dinner every once in a while, or games, or Lions games, Tigers games, whatever it may be. But don't spend too much time in the city, for most of the year. So
we often hear from guys who play in their hometowns that it's great to be playing in your hometown, but also being around family is sometimes, or being around people that you grew up with or whatever, it's can be annoying. Is there any downside to being back here?
No, for me, I think it's great. I think, having my wife's and my family's so close, and they get to see the grandkids all the time and come to the games. I think, honestly, I probably see my parents less now than when I played in different cities. I think they would come visit, but now it's we're so close. So, they'll come to games and leave right after. I don't see them after. So it's kind of just our routine, and, it's good. I think some weekends, off days, we'll go see each, both of our families and stuff like that. But, it's great for me. I think a lot of my friends come to games, and it's fun to play in front of them. And obviously just play for the team I rooted for growing up. I think it's such an honor to play here, and all the history here, and just being a fan from day one when I was born, and now being able to wear the jersey is pretty incredible, honestly.
How much does it rock that the Lions are good?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think my whole life they haven't been. So now being here and being able to go to some games, it's such a fun atmosphere there, and everyone's fired up for them, and hopefully they can go far this year.
Did you miss Barry Sanders?
I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't get the Barry Sanders experience?
No, I didn't. I mean, obviously, I heard everything about him, but
he would make this sound like
yeah, him too. Everyone in Detroit.
Everybody, that's a Detroit thing.
How haven't you picked that up yet?
I'm gonna start making that sound soon.
Yes,
you'd be the ultimate Detroit guy.
New goal celebration. You just scream that in the arena after you score.
New goal celebration. You tell on everybody. And Tim Allen catches a lot of strays. Yeah, so you missed Barry Sanders. Who would your Detroit touchstones be?
Calvin Johnson.
Oh, hell yeah.
Megatron. I think he was big. Honestly, growing up, I wasn't a huge football guy. I was pretty much focused on hockey. That was my one sport I loved to watch. And But as I've gotten older, gotten into fantasy football and stuff, I've gotten a lot more into the football, and just being a fan of the Lions has been fun right now. So it's a good thing for me to watch now. I really enjoy it.
Not to generalize American hockey players from Michigan, but you are like the ultimate that guy probably played college hockey guy who didn't play college hockey. I know you were committed to UMass, and obviously makes a lot of sense to go to the OHL, especially playing the way that you did there. But how close was that? Like, did you really consider playing college hockey, and why UMass?
Yeah, for sure. My whole life, I was basically, I didn't even really know, but I knew about the OHL because Plymouth was here, and we'd go to games sometimes, but that was never really an option, I'd say. I think, my parents are big on education and going the college route, and then I committed to UMass. We went on a visit there. I really liked it. It's a cool school. I think just I knew a couple people who went there in the past, talked to them, and but all in all, I think the opportunity that came in Erie was obviously a lot better than I was in 10th grade when started talking to Erie, and I think just the opportunity that was there, and we did a little more research with my parents and got a school package. So if it didn't work out, it was going to be fine. But I think my goal was always to make the NHL. So it wasn't to play college hockey. It wasn't to play in the OHL. It was always to make the NHL. So I was going to put all my eggs in one basket and try to find the best way to get there. So that was kind of the thinking between it and or behind it, and I'm happy with the choice I made. Obviously,
you had the playoff season in Chicago, but between going to the Memorial Cup with Erie and even Pete brought up last night that game against Montreal last season where you came back from down 4-1, you scored in that game. Raymond, I think, won it in overtime. Like you've experienced these moments, but for a player of your caliber, you haven't been on like enough teams, it seems, that has had those playoff runs or anything like that, especially being a Detroit guy. Like, how it's lame to say like how hungry are you to do it, but after that Montreal game, you must be like, get us to the freaking playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was such a cool experience last year. I think those games at the end of the year, the arena was bumping, and just like you watch that replay of Raymond's goal in overtime, and just like gives me chills. It was one of the coolest games I've ever played, I think. And haven't had too much playoff experience. I think that's something everyone in that locker room wants to do, and obviously the guys from here, we take a lot of pride in the logo, and I think everyone on the team obviously does with the history that's here, and we want to get back there and sooner than later. So I think last year made us really hungry for this year, and left a little bitter taste in our mouths. So come out this year, I don't think we've necessarily had the best start, and hopefully get back on track here soon.
Yeah, what was the experience like for you guys, like watching the wild card picture kind of take place last year, and then just barely missing, and then seeing Washington in the playoffs, they make it and they get swept? Was there any sense of like, fuck, we should be there?
I mean, I think there's a lot of things that go through your mind when you miss out like that, and obviously you go back to certain points in the season when you lose a game maybe you shouldn't, or give up a lead and give up points that obviously matter. And I think it sucked. I think we weren't ready to finish the season. I think I don't think we necessarily look at it like we would have done better than Washington or whatever it may be. I think it's all you never know what's going to happen with anyone. So I think once playoff hockey comes, anyone can beat anyone, and the Rangers were a good team. So, but I think we definitely wanted to be there. It was tough pill to swallow, just the way it all went down too. So this year I think we got to find a way to not lose those games we should win, and give up those points, and hopefully it doesn't matter at the end of the season, but it might, and every game counts so much. So we have that mentality this year, and like I said, hopefully get back on track and get into the playoffs.
You would have done better than Washington. Everybody would have. It
at least would have been more fun.
That rocked, and I love what Washington did in the offseason and everything, but everybody would have done better than Washington. We are very fond of our guy, Nikita Zadorov. he's just a real blast. You're making a face as I bring it up. What was he like as a teammate?
Yeah, he's great. I think
He's insane.
yeah, he's a lot of he's loud in the locker room for sure. He's just a good guy to be around. Honestly, I think being on the plane, a lot of different things. Like he's always yelling and saying stuff. I think he acts like he's played 3,000 games in this league, but he's just funny. He's a great guy. I really enjoyed my time with him, and I think it sucked he wasn't able to stick in Chicago a little longer. But he's had some good years, and now in Boston, I think he's a good fit there.
You'd say he acts like he's played 3,000 games. It feels like he has, and I'm wondering if that's just something that he projects, or
He feels like
he's had a few stops.
He
but
carries himself like the only active NHL Hall of Famer.
that rules.
No, he's such a good guy. I feel like he's, but yeah, he comes in the locker room. He demands respect, I think, and it's a good way to carry yourself. I think he knows what he can do in this league, and he's done it for a long time now. I mean, he's got to be. I don't know how many games he has, but he's one of the veterans now, and definitely has played with a lot of great players that he's learned from and learned how to lead and stuff like that. So I think he definitely carries himself with some authority, and obviously I think his height helps with that as well.
I was going to ask, how often does he make fun of you for being short? Because the first thing that he said to me when we met was like, "Do you need a stool?"
Yeah. I mean, I think he's always making fun of everyone. I think it's something that he just brings lighthearted conversations, and I feel like right when you meet him, you feel like you've known him for plenty of years, and you become buddies just like that, because he's not afraid to chirp you. I think he can take it too. So you give it back to him, he's just gonna laugh it off, and he was a great guy to play with.
Word is, and by word is, I mean, you said he played bad music in the locker room. What was he doing?
I don't remember, honestly, but I'm sure if I said that, it had to have been pretty bad.
It wasn't
because
just
I usually
you either.
Yeah, okay. I'm not sure what he played, but I'm yeah.
You are extremely indifferent when it comes to cats. You're a dog guy.
Yeah.
How much of a nuisance has that been in your life?
Not too much, actually. I think I'm very allergic to cats. So
Fuck yeah.
It's
Gang.
it's not my favorite animal to be around. I think the only time it's really been not great is in Chicago. I had a photo shoot one time, and they brought in a bunch of cats with me. So I had to carry, I'm sure you can find the pictures. I had to hold 3 different cats, and I'm like, I just don't want to get an allergic reaction. I'm good. There were a bunch of kittens, so it wasn't too bad. But I think that's the only time it's really come to bite me in the butt.
You said yes to this, but can't you just say no to the when they're like, all right, Alex, we're thinking tons of cats.
Yeah.
Can't
I probably could have. It was early in my career, so I was more, saying yes to a lot of things. So, I think it was not that big of a deal, but I think that's the only time it's really been I'm not so sure about this.
Well, one thing I want to hit with you is you said when you were on the Blackhawks that you felt you would make the best goalie of the non-goalies on the team, and we recently chatted with Joey Decord, and that guy cannot stop thinking about scoring goals. And apparently every goalie can't stop thinking about scoring goals. Do you actually think about, I could probably do this. I could play goalie.
I could have had that one.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
No, not in the NHL, no. But I used to play goalie quite a bit. It's something I like to do. Sometimes after practice, I'll get in that and play it with Kane doing breakaways or those guys doing breakaways.
way.
You'll put on the pads?
No, not the pads.
Oh, okay.
I'll just play in my players' gear after practice.
Raw dog it?
Yeah, just breakaways. It's a little bit easier for me because they can't lift the puck, so that's kind of a rule we set. But Kaner tries his best to deke me out. I think we've been doing that for quite a bit. So I feel like I still have it a little bit and could play. Maybe not at the NHL level, but if they ever need an e-bug, I'm there.
Who gets the better of whom there? If Kane can't lift the puck and you have to be out there kind of bare-assed, so to speak.
I think depends on the day. Sometimes he's got my number. Sometimes there's one move that really gets me. But we did it, last week, I think, and he might have only scored 1 out of 15 tries. So I think I had him there. But he always leaves after he scores, so I'm basically in a lose-lose situation. It's like I could stop 100 and 101. He's like, oh yeah, that's enough for me. he scores, so he leaves, and then I get to take the L, I guess.
That freaking guy. Is it weird? Is it weird seeing him in this uniform? Especially, I mean, you're obviously old friends, but as any person, it's kind of weird to see him in this uniform. But for you, it's like makes sense that I'm here. But like, how did this happen?
Yeah, I think it's weird to see him in any uniform. I think other than the Blackhawks, I think he's obviously a face of that franchise and was for so long. And then I think for me, it was more weird to see him in a Rangers uniform. And then when he came here, I was already so used to the uniform, so it was easy to get used to him there. But yeah, the Rangers one for me, it just it didn't fit for me with him. So. But yeah, we're happy he's here. And
so basically, it's just that any uniform that he wears that you're not wearing
exactly.
is weird to you.
Yeah, 100%.
That makes sense.
It's fun to have him here and be on the same team again, and hopefully we can do it for quite a bit longer.
I loved the Charlios retirement ceremony night, or it wasn't retirement, retiring the number thing, and he shouted out Kane, and he was like, "Hey, buddy, you play your cards right, you might get this same thing."
Yeah.
And Kane just like went off in that game, scored the OT winner, was it?
Yeah,
winner,
OT
yeah.
winner. I think he actually said, "Don't steal my thunder," too.
Yeah,
so.
it was just like such a
Kaner
like
definitely stole his
respectfully,
thunder.
sir. We're equals here.
Yeah. It was Kaner's first game back in Chicago too, and he definitely stole the thunder that night. So it's that was such a fun game. See the love the fans have for him, and how much that organization means to him too. So to be able to score the overtime goal, I don't think you can write it better than that. I think it was the perfect day for them.
We all silly like the mayor.